Interesting. Interesting. But without release, doesn't. Let's try that. Okay. Interesting. Hello, people. How are things? How are things in the world? Why? Can't type. Print. Right, okay, so we're trying to dereference. We printed thing value and bling value. Oh! Because we said dash release, the null pointer check is turned off. But don't we turn it on? No, we don't. That was a stupid bug. Whoopsie, right? So if I put dash release in here now, wait, what? Oh, it didn't save the file. You got to save the file, people. In the test that needs it, even if it starts off. Whoops. When I wrote that, I was thinking like, oh, it defaults to off, and we'll just, and it, yeah, I didn't think it all the way through. Whoa, look at all the subs. Look at all the sloppy steaks. Is push context dot whatever supposed to crash when printing? Push context with a default context will fuck up your program big time. Don't do that. I mean, you destroy temporary storage, first of all. Right, so temporary storage is going to be null, and I think, so anyone who tries to use temporary storage is not going to be able to evaluate, which print might. I know it did, and then someone took it out, but I might have put it back. log. Okay, if you print a struct, it uses the temporary allocator. So like, yeah, that's, maybe we should give people a function that like returns a context with temporary storage set up or something, right? Usually what I do in my own programs is I just copy the current context and then change whatever I want to change. You're watching a stream where that was the problem. Yeah, it's an interesting question of what should happen. Like maybe what we could do is have the temporary allocator, because there is a failover. I'll show you guys this stuff. So temporary storage has all this stuff. And it's got like what's the overflow allocator, which is like where you get your extra pages from and all these things. And that defaults to like the normal heap allocator, right? So what I would say about this is we could just have the temporary allocator function check if the pointer's null, and then just call malloc in that case and leak it. I don't know. Because you don't want it to construct one necessarily. I don't know. I don't know. This is something we could discuss about what's the right thing to do there. What else is in context? I mean, the real reason you don't want to do that is because, so this is all the stuff that sort of starts out in the context, and these are constant, so they don't matter. These are the things that take storage. But like, you're going to mess up your thread index, which people might be trying to use. You're going to mess up your logger, which people might be trying to use. Like we just said, you're going to mess up temporary storage. You're going to mess up stack traces, which you might want to do. Who knows? But the point being, this is just the system stuff. You don't know, like any module that you use can add things to this, right? And do you know the consequences of defaulting any of that out at any given time, right? So I wouldn't recommend doing it. That's what I say about that. Anyway, I was going to ship some value to the people tonight. How should one get a default context in a C call? Well, okay, so inside a C call is a little bit different because you really don't have anything to start with. So yeah, I see the question. Like you sort of need to know, okay, so to answer the more general question that I just said about everything in the program, it's like, well, if you're calling back from C and you have no context, you need to know how to boot like all the different things, which default values might be fine for a lot of them, especially if you're not calling into that module or something, right? But yeah, I mean, we should probably make a function for people that it needs at least initializes temporary storage to something. That's what I think about that. The other thing I would say is depending on what's going on, you might want to somehow, like in a complex enough program, you might want to somehow provide the information someplace that your C callback can like read so that it knows, because you might need information, right? Like you might need to call into someone's code and that code needs something to be set up, right? And that's a very context dependent thing. Like whatever the code is that you're calling might want a particular thing. So, um, you know, I mean, if you need that, then you just need to make it work somehow. You need to figure out what's the best way to provide that information. Hopefully, you get some kind of like a user data slot in your callback, right? Any system that doesn't give you user data for C callbacks is ass. So there's that. You can pass things through there. Um, we don't support thread local storage right now. We might eventually, in part because context provides thread local storage that's faster, but because we don't do it, there's sort of this issue. Um, but also, like doing lots of callbacks from C, you want to avoid that anyway, right? I mean, sometimes you have to do it because like whatever you're interfacing with does it, but um, you just need to like long term. You don't want to have C in the loop of any other programming language that you're making, right? Like long term, you want to simplify your system to the greatest extent possible. And that means, not also worrying about C in addition to like whatever other language you're programming in, right? So that's what I think about that. Um, yeah. He was just setting the allocator and logger. Yeah. Um, that's like I said. So print uses temporary storage, which requires that to be set up. And the expectation in the language is that anyone should be able to use temporary storage at any time because it's so convenient. And so if like there could be another thing, which is we write some documentation somewhere that just says, look, if you're going to make a new context from nothing, here's the things you should do. And it would be allocator, logger, and temporary storage would be the three things. Like stack trace node being null is okay. This being null is not okay. This being null is not okay. Logger, I forget. I mean, depends on what the log function does. Depends on if it detects a null pointer. But like, a logging, if this is null, you just don't log anything and that sucks, but you're fine. If you don't have an allocator, your program kind of can't do anything, right? So there's that. Okay, anyway, we have this. Oh, we solved this. I have another bug that I have a report about. So I don't want to dox this person. So I'm going to go. Why do I have Adobe running? Go away. It's because my Windows has forcibly rebooted 3 times in the past week to install updates. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, so I'm going to turn my OBS display off for a second. And then I will read the email. I also unfortunately watched the new Matrix movie last night. And maybe I won't say anything else. Maybe I won't say anything else. How's that doing in reviews? I mean, not that I trust reviews on anything for a long time, but yeah, not good. Although somebody gave it 100 out of 100. How bad was it? Well, like I said, I want to refrain from further comment. Just all I will say is don't. I would recommend that if you're looking forward to some way to be like hyped about the end of the year and like do something cool, just plan something else as a backup if this movie was your option. That's all I'm saying. Better or worse than Eraserhead? I don't remember Eraserhead, sadly. You liked what it was doing in the beginning. I didn't. I did not. Did not. I did learn all about how video game studios work, though. It's a very educational movie. Okay, going back to my email to like get the bug report. Oh, I've got a few. I've got a few. Let's get these two. Hopefully we can fix at least one of them tonight, and that will be enough to deliver the value to the people. So do you know what's better than the entire Matrix movie? All you need is this one meme that I'm now looking for. Okay. This is all you need. Better or worse than Spy Kids 3D? I don't remember Spy Kids 3D either. I know I saw it because it was supposed to be so bad. Yes. Anyway. Why? This feels laggy. Maybe it's running with the wrong GPU. Whatever. We're going to roll with it. Maybe the settings got reset. Were the fight scenes good? No. 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 The fight scenes were not even like, you know how in the previous Matrix movies they like tried really hard to make the fight scenes good, right? Like they got action movie directors and the characters like trained and they chose cinematography to show you what was going on and all this stuff. I don't think any of those things are true in this movie. It's so weird, dude, because the first movie was not bad, but like sometimes people don't understand why things are good, right? It's really weird, but when you live long enough, you see it over and over again. Where like people don't understand why what they did was good. You legit think the movie. So, you think Matrix 4 is a Chinese psyop? Is that what's happening? Did China buy Warner Brothers? Okay. Anyway. I'm going to rename this something besides test. Let's run in debug compiler. Error, this procedure is missing its body. Oh, after, oh wait, no, okay. Array contains It's like maybe when we polymorph, we don't correctly copy quick lambda bodies. That is my guess. We're going to take a break a break point. We're going to put a breakpoint in the program. That's how we're going to take a break. And we're going to vet that to see if it is accurate. Is missing. That's really the only thing I could think of. that would do this. Every B-tier Netflix show is better. Yeah, I mean, because I don't respect myself, I've been watching some bad shows lately just to try and take in some media that isn't social media. And like, there's some pretty bad shows out there. Like, I got really annoyed at how bad the Wheel of Time show is, but it's still better than Matrix 4. Actually, it's not. It's not much better than Matrix 4. Actually, it's about the same. If I explored using those principles here, no, I mean that's just like when you read articles like that. That was how I was thinking about programming languages 20 years ago. Like that article was written 20 years ago. All right. Like what I'm doing these days is informed by 20 more years. Okay. It also just the fact that the movie spends 15 minutes inside a supposed game development studio for no reason, and I don't know, just seeing Hollywood or TV depict your thing is like it's sad, right? It's very sad. So that made me extra annoyed at the movie. Okay. It's like when any media try to depict your thing. Yeah, probably. Okay. So this is probably flagged lambda is quick, and its body pointer is probably null. So many members. Body is not null. Interesting. How did we get here then? Oh, this is polymorphed from the quick lambda. Interesting. Okay. Is this literally not flagged for some reason? God, my mouse just slipped. Mouse just slipped. It is not flagged has a body. Oh, it doesn't. Like, we have the body pointer set, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I think we maybe create that all the time. Yeah. Oh, there's a statement. So it's just not flagged correctly for some reason. Um, all right, so we'll look at the polymorph source. All right. Same lambda flags. Right, so if we add 4, it's going to be 0, yeah. Okay, so the error is not here. The error is in the thing that we polymorphed from. Lambda is quick. See, quick lambdas have a body, though. So, like, why does that not? We probably do set that in the parser. Let's see. Here we flag it has a body in the same place that we flag it as quick. Lol 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 lol. I did it for the lulz. Cannot have a body after a type directive. So that's a different problem now. This one is now flagged. We only want the function type, which probably also happens here. Guys, I'm like Neo. I can program a hybrid of Morpheus and Agent Smith in my video game, even though I don't know I'm in the Matrix. I can program Matrix level technology and create intelligent beings. It's amazing. All right. So now we have yet another fucking problem, which may or may not be the same problem. What do I think of the series Silicon Valley? I watched the first season. Can I program Matrix 5? I mean, I think Tim Epic is already programming Matrix 5. Okay, so something about this, usually if we get a repro from someone, it's just a simple problem. And like somehow here, a bunch of things are being exposed. Hmm. Typo in the comment. Well, it's not my comment, and we're probably going to throw out the program after this. Although we'll probably make a repro case out of it, so we'll fix it. Okay. Congrats on 100 beta shipped. Thank you. Thank you. We are working on 101 right now. All right, let's see what the deal is. So there's sort of two things. One is this is not really giving much information, which is annoying. Where do we print that out? I don't even know where. Ah. So, I mean, these don't have names because they're quick lambdas, which is fine, but it's also not giving us a line number for those, which is weird. I don't know what the deal is there. Okay, anyway. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. So it's a lambda body. It's the body of the quick lambda. Okay. It is queued. It's in the infer pipe. But we don't have a yielded on expression, which is annoying. It is in the infer pipe. But hasn't ever it's probably hitting this. So the header is queued. The header is finished compiling. Oh wait, no, highest pipe exited pipe none. What? What? Oh, is this flagged as Yeah, it's not flagged as anything. It claims it inferred expressions. Oh, so this got polymorph solved. Okay, so I believe that this is a temporary let's see which I think it's probably the interior one, but let's see, line 18, character 42. Yeah, so yeah, so it's this. That's pretty weird. Like we have quick lambdas all over the place, and I haven't seen this happen before. Um, maybe I caused it. Hold on a second. Maybe I'm not making progress. Maybe I broke some others. Let's just run our tests. Yep. Okay, I introduced a fail with what I did. That is useful information, actually. Should have done that a while ago. What am I working on? I'm working on bug snacks from the mailbag. Oh my God, look at the bugs. All right. Okay, so a lot of our polymorphs broke with the same shit. Okay, and it's probably because of this. Let's just see. Now, I don't know what to do about that, but I suspect that that is the problem. Oh, well, now we have that. So if I go back and break this all the way, like this was getting flagged no matter what, which seems wrong to me. But it fixes that problemo. So we have in the middle of polymorph solves, we're making these things. They're getting queued. Did I get any cool Christmas gifts? I do not know, because my Christmas gifts were sent to my place in San Francisco, and I've been traveling. So I might have. I probably did. Okay, so this whole copying thing that we're dealing with right now is something that in the long term I want to remove from the compiler. But in the short and medium term, we just kind of have to deal with it because it's too, it's hard for me to imagine it taking less than 2 weeks of hard work to like replace it. And that's once I know exactly what to do, which I don't even exactly yet. Um, hmm. Okay, so the deal is I do believe that not setting this is wrong. However, some stuff was relying on that to work. So this is a case of, sort of a bug canceling out another bug. Can I do this part down here? Um, yeah. So like that's what we want. Probably. So this is just going to give us the same error we had before. And the error is we're queuing these procedure bodies to go hot, which is why we're getting the circular dependency because they go hot and then they never get processed. But we're not, like the headers are not. Oh, what are the flags that I'm looking for? I don't even know the flags. No, they are these ones right here. So there used to be a lot more flags, as you can see by the sparse flag space here. So it wasn't flagged unqueued, which means it never. Okay, so we'll see queued by file and queued by line. Actually. Okay, we don't set those here. All right, so here we go again. So we've got a Lambda body. It's got a header. Header has a queued. Yeah, it hasn't gone hot. So we are requesting for the bodies to go hot when the headers have not gone hot. Right? And so what we could do now is detect that situation and say WTF, right? Yeah. Well, and actually we know where it happened. It's line 6973. I don't know how much information that gives us, but queue or go hot. Okay. It's called queued by line. Just going to put a breakpoint there. And say, what is happening? Okay. Wow, we didn't hit that. Okay. Step 2. We're going to break on when it gets created. Okay. Queue or go hot. Infer types. For lambda. Okay, yeah, so we're in force infer. Okay. This is, see, force infer has been the bane of my existence. But it's in there to maybe make the compiler faster. But like, I should get rid of it. It's caused so many problems. So the problem now is we're trying to queue the body of a procedure, and that's a big janene. See, that's not good either, but okay, well, it solved that problem. We'll consider this as an actual solution if it solves all our problems. The deal is with the force infer is we try to see if we can figure out the types, because we're in the middle of polymorphing, right? And while we're in the middle of polymorphing, we don't want to like stop and run the rest of the compiler. So we say, hey, can we just go call all this really complicated code that's meant to run a different time from now, but we're just going to call it from here and see if we can figure out the type of this thing real fast. And if we can, then cool. And then we just keep going with the polymorph. And it's caused a lot of problems. Certainly probably days of debugging time total, which makes me wonder how smart of an idea it was. Maybe days. I don't know. I don't know. But I haven't seen a fail go by yet. No Twitter fail whale. Okay. How about on our little bug test here? We still have circular dependencies, but only on main now. So it got rid of the problem. Okay, we're going to leave that solution in there. You know, main is probably waiting on one of these quick lambdas down here. Probably. Yeah, I wonder. I kind of just don't know what it could be. Do you know what the secret cool feature is yet? The question is which secret cool feature, because there are several. There are several secret cool features. If you mean the beta 100 feature, beta 100 has shipped to the people, so the people know what the beta 100 feature is. Okay, let's just see what's going on here again. We're sort of pushing the stack because we haven't totally decided that that was an acceptable solution to the previous thing, but it might actually be because, like I said, we want to rewrite all this stuff, and so rat holing too much on it might not be the way. Okay, so here we're going to say circular dependency in main, and we're sleeping on someone. Sleeping on a lambda. Line 22, character 46. This one. And what is your problem? Cursor 4. Aha! It is waiting on the next one. So many problems. It's like we just never built this as a test case, and it has so many problems. I mean, it finished compiling. Finished compiling. Does the entire compiler start with a what type is main question? No. No, it does not. Why is the compiler failing on lambda expressions? Why do you think? Why are you asking me that question? What? Sometimes I just don't want to fucking stream, guys. All right. So what do? We have inner lambda actually cleared. Outer lambda, for some reason, okay, this is the part that I don't understand. So this is outer lambda. Wait. This part gets confusing sometimes. Okay, this is outer lambda because it's at, right? Wait. Oh no, this is main. So confusing. All right. So main is sleeping on, okay, this is outer lambda. And its flattener is waiting on inner lambda. But inner lambda is this. Inner lambda doesn't care. So why then did this not continue? It's in the infer pipe. Why did it not continue onward after the other thing? I don't know. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete all our breakpoints because we have a million of them and they're confusing. And actually, we'll leave our explain 1640 because that's what we're working on. Okay, we're going to add 2 for these 2 events. We're going to add 1 for this exit pipe of this. And that's going to fire a few times. Okay, so that's that. And then for this guy, we want to know why why you're quitting. So that's in infer. No, it's in typer, sorry. I should call it infer. All right. This is in here. And what's going to happen is we're going to break at some point. Or no, we're going to return false. Conditions. There, okay. Visual Studio is bad with breakpoints that fire the wrong ways. So this may take a while, even though it's a small program. I swear that they stealth patch Visual Studio to make it slower at breakpoints like every 3 months. I can't believe how slow it is now, and I'm still using Visual Studio 2017. I haven't changed it. Maybe like Spectre mitigation's really whacked breakpoints somehow. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're just going to follow this around the loop-de-loop. This is 2. This is 3. Now 4 is the one that we're going to stall on, I believe. Maybe not. Oh, 5 is the one we're going to... Wait, no? Oh, this is index 3, right. Okay. Next is when we stall. What? What? Maybe we don't have a reproducible... Oh, there could be more than one flattened fudge. We're just going to step through this. It's only 14. Okay, I admit I made a tactical mistake. Right, okay, so now we've switched. Maybe it's 4 on this one. Okay, so we try to get the inferred type on the thing. It is not there. That is no surprise. Fuck. I actually want to see this, so let's add some more conditions. Dude, this is so hard to edit. You're fired. And is it I? Flattened cursor. And okay. Restart. It's going to take even longer. 2022 is a nightmare. Well, I'm not surprised. Like they've just completely lost track of what their job is, as far as I can tell. Oh, I might have fucked up. Because I would have expected to hit that other breakpoint first. We'll see though. Um, so this is exiting pipe infer on the other guy. Exiting pipe size. Okay, so his type is inferred. Yeah, I think I just fucked up that other breakpoint somehow. Um, have I? Okay, I thought, let's just try removing this one. Let's just go back to this. Do you have a favorite version of Visual Studio that I actually enjoyed? It's hard to remember now. Like Visual Studio 2006 was pretty okay, I think. There was one. Like whichever one was before they rewrote it in C# was pretty good. Um, and then they rewrote it in C#, and then it was awful for a couple years, and then they kind of mostly fixed it, and it was pretty okay again. Still not good, um, but like it never recovered from the initial C# rewrite. When they were named inversions, yeah. 2006 is what Sean uses. Dude, last time I talked to Sean about this, he still used Visual C++ 6 or Visual whatever. Like, so if he upgraded to 2006, then I'm shocked. No, Visual C++ 6 is not 2006. Visual C++ 6 is from like fucking 1998. Like that's what I used when I was working on the hover tank game or whatever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, that's the wrong attitude, actually. Uh, the correct attitude is be good at your fucking job and work productively. If it ain't broke, don't fix it is kind of like it's a little bit true, but the problem is if you take that as your motto, you become some mediocre dude who never does anything, right? You don't want to be that guy. You want to be able to replace things with things that are like those but better. And you want to cultivate that skill. Okay. So, don't upgrade if you don't really have a reason to. Yeah, I mean, the problem is in the games industry, we get forced to upgrade because, like, you want to build for PlayStation and their SDK only supports Visual Studio, blah, blah, blah. Like, we have to. Um, so, sad. Okay. Now that I've been chatting, what was I doing? Oh yeah, okay. So we're here. Let me get these variables up. Oh, you know what? I think the reason this didn't trip is because I said 4 here. And I think we actually go here. I think it's queued. So I don't think we ever hit this for 4. Gee, I could drag the breakpoint if I was on a Visual Studio 2006. Fuckers. All right, we'll just go through it 14 times. Okay, here we go. Now, we are going to put a breakpoint up here for like, do we ever try to infer this again? Because what I'm suspecting is we never come back here for some reason. Okay, so we quit out. We yielded from our type check arguments. Oh. Oh, God. This could be yet another force infer horribleness. Because maybe maybe it's not actually in the pipe. Anyway. So we're just going to go. We're hitting this one. So our other guy that we slept on is advancing. And interestingly, it doesn't think any, oh, because we didn't sleep on it. We yielded. Okay. So nothing happens there. And then I think we're never going to hit the other breakpoint until we exit. Yeah. Okay, so it's another fucking force infer bug. Unbelievable how many problems that thing causes. So we'll get back there. You know, I could get rid of this breakpoint and this breakpoint. Okay, so I just want to see, so here, oh, we're not in. Okay. Well, when I wrote this comment, I said, hey, we never yield here, and now we are yielding here. So I'm not surprised that it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is that we have to do something if we force infer and it doesn't complete. And we were looking at that code earlier. Here, we have to request to go hot. Right here. This was causing bugs in test cases submitted by the people. What else is there to say about this? Okay. Oh, wait, I didn't even see the handling here. So this is some, wait, I literally just put this in like 2 weeks. Fucking, guys, I just accidentally dragged the windows and then I tried to put them back and now they're all stuck together. So now I have to do this motherfucking thing where I drag them one at a time into. Why do people like this program? And it's like being all laggy. And like, I need to not drag the wrong one. I don't know. Something, I don't know what these are. Is force infer due for a rewrite or is it intrinsically terrible? Well, sometimes you do an idea and you don't know in the beginning if it's terrible or not. It didn't seem terrible, but then over the course of working on the compiler, more and more reasons came up why it was terrible. So one answer is to rewrite it and just get rid of it, right? Or just not call it at all. Because the problems aren't happening because of what's literally in the function force infer. They happen because different parts of the system are surprised in one way or another by what's happening, right? And so like, it's not like you can make the function necessarily more clean. Okay. Since I fucking typed into this file, Visual Studio is going to freak out, even though any prior debugger would have been fine. So now we got to run again and wait for it. Now, the reason I don't just knuckle down and delete all the force infer stuff is A, it might make the compiler slower. I don't like that. But B, like I do think I kind of want to restructure other stuff in a big way that'll eventually, I don't exactly see what the right structure is, but I feel like in my heart, like it will at least substantially change the nature of that kind of force infer problem, or maybe even just get rid of it. So yes. So we are manually removing it from inputs. Now the problem is that somebody is sleeping on this guy, right? No. Oh, someone's going to sleep on him later. Dude, it was just 2 weeks ago that I was working on this. It might have been right before I got on the plane. It might have been on the plane. I do not remember anything about it. I need to manually remove it from inputs so that it doesn't come around again. Why? Don't I just request to go hot instead? I don't understand. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the request to go hot. And we're going to see if that causes a problem in this test case. This is a thing that I've started doing, is when I need to fix specific problems, I put the repro case in there so you can at least go back and validate whether your new solution also solves that repro case. It's a way of trying to have knowledge not disintegrate over time. Okay, so so we're just gonna hot that, which is the opposite. We don't need to hot it, right? Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay. It's already hot. Okay. So we removed that. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that that was a good general purpose thing. We are in like somebody ends up sleeping on this dude. This is the thing where like polymorphism is complicated, etc. All right. All of this, like quick lambdas seem to be the scenario. Okay. They seem to be the hot zone where a lot of things are happening. All right, so now that's crashing again. Oh, it's because maybe I just didn't. I think this might have been one of these cases where my brain wasn't totally turned on when I did this. Because, so the deal is removing you from the input queue when you sleep is normally something that happens. There's like a regular processing queue that like does these guys, and this is not going through that, which is one of the reasons why force infer is bad and causes surprises. Okay, that is the right outcome for this, right? See how it's like, should be an undefined variable error. That's fine. So I think we really want, if we slept, then we remove. And the deal before was, because we don't usually exercise this here, like I said up here, the only times we exercised it, this was the right answer. So the fact that I didn't correctly add this didn't matter, because we didn't have enough coverage of different cases, but now we do. So that's fine. That's fine. Let's slop them up. Look at all the subs. So the deal is, if you're using this programming language, you don't need Visual Studio in the same ways you would have before, because like if you're going to build a C++ project on Windows, most people use like this whole thing and put their C files in here and then use that to compile and link them. You could also use like MS build scripts to do that, but most people don't do that. So you don't need that in this programming language. In fact, it's not desired. However, it is still one of the main debuggers on Windows, right? And I guess some people use it as a text editor. I don't know. So if you wanted to use it for either of those reasons, you would still use it. But you wouldn't use it for like this stuff, for all the build management stuff. Hey. Could use CMake, dude. I've had so many CMake problems. Like, how could they mess it up so bad? It's supposed to be the nicer, better version of Make, and it's like so messed up. I don't know. I don't know. It might be bedtime soon, but we're going to certainly check this in. We're going to log it as fixed problems causing some nested quick lambdas not to work. Oh, we should definitely make this a repro or a regression. And since we added a new test, let's just make sure the tests pass again. Okay. Very good. So let us commit this. And then there's one more that I want to try to hit before going to bed. Uh-oh, I left no check-ins. Oh yeah, I knew it was that. I knew about that. Okay. Next. I'm just remembering there was a bookstore I wanted to go to around here. I was like, I should take tomorrow off. This is what was going through my head. I should take tomorrow off. Saturday anyway, right? Normal people take Saturday. Wait, is today Saturday? Today's Saturday and Christmas, and I'm working. Great. Anywho, I was just remembering, I was like, oh, I should maybe read a book. And I was like, I don't have a book. And then I was like, oh, I remember that bookstore. Okay. Q or go hot is not relevant. What was the name of the example? I made an example. This example. And Ip and Morty. All right. So what did I literally just call it? Replace with empty. Somebody was telling me that things crash when you do this. So full text with the empty frickin' string. Okay, so this is examples, import replacement. Boom. Well, let's see about that. Load is not equal to null. Oh. Right. Oh, because we turn it. See, the problem is, let's follow this actually from. So I think I think we check whether a particular string is true or not. I think it's on the import. Direct string to load. Okay, and the problem is, if we give it the empty string, direct string to load has, oh wait, using direct string given by user, etc. No, because we probably do use this authoritatively. So the question is, do I do a stupid hack, like checking for the empty string and like making it a space? Or a new line, or is that lame? Seems lame. So here we set this and we set this, right? Oh, maybe it's, Oh, we just return null here. That's probably really not okay, actually, under any circumstance. Oh, I see. We're using it as an optimization. Okay. Maybe we'll give it a parameter that's like, I have two choices. One is I could make imports work without load directives, but like I kind of don't want to do that. Because like we want to let people make this namespace. And we were going to want to allow namespaces to be created in other ways. That would probably, oh, it is literally not used for anything. All right, let's get rid of it. If we want it back later, we could have it back later. We're just going to do this. Actually, hold on. Where was it? Where was the frickin' make string to load? So I'm going to go back and I am going to let this return null. Dang it. Oh, wait, did we run the wrong? We ran the wrong compiler, everybody. Good news. Good news. Hey, oh. Circular dependencies. Oh, because we're waiting. We're like waiting for something to happen in there. Okay, hold on. So we actually have two things to fix here. Like, see, I'm kind of inclined to solve this the other way because it could be one more simple tweak to make this part work, but I am making a thing happen that like isn't. Although I do want to decouple imports from loads probably, so it's worth it. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go see what it doesn't like. Like this using is blocking on the thing, right? Because it's waiting for something. I just don't remember. There's a few things it could be waiting for. Could be waiting for like inserters, but I don't think that we get those here. I mean, maybe we need a version of this enum that says string, by the way, for the people. Not going to worry about that right this second, but see, this whole like load is first for this import, except I don't think we do that here. Let's just see. Dude, this program sucks. It's right there. Okay. I ate way too much pizza today. All right, so interp pipes, no pipes. Let's going to be in the infer pipe, right? Yep. This is going to be an asked using. Okay. It is waiting on this import. And we can just see why. It's going to be something simple. Okay. It's waiting on an import. Expression has not gone live. What? Well, that's going to be it every time, right? When does this normally happen? This is a thing that we normally just use to prevent things from going live twice. So back here, we're looking at the struct. Now the struct is going to be marked as a module somehow. Did I forget? Module import. Okay, so I want to know when does this happen for other module struts? Null is undefined. Okay, great. Thank you. Let's just restart. Literally nobody else is doing this. I'm going crazy. The whole world is going by. Do we do it from like import has gone live? We do, don't we? We call make scope be live on like our data scope. Oh. Now here's where we make the using. So we definitely ran this. Okay, one sec. What's this test called again? That we're... If I go here, oh, main program. If I go here and I actually go, does that actually work? I think it may. Literally does. Okay, so the problem is just this. And what if that also works? So it is something about making that load directive be null. And I have half a mind to make that illegal in this case. But I really should, like there is a temptation in complicated systems like this to just do that, because it does seem like it might be the right answer. But I also don't understand why the problem is happening. And I'm just going to take a little bit of extra time to try and figure it out, because it's good to know, even if, yeah, you want to have mastery over your system, right? Yeah, so I take out the string and then we have the same problem. So like the import is waiting for the load for some reason, and the load doesn't exist, so it never happens. And the problem is I have forgotten the mechanism by which that happens. What I could look at is at load processing. Don't even remember where this happens. Okay, so this is where it happens. Right here. No, that's just the file scope, actually. Unless this propagates out. Oh, right here. Oh, oh, see that? Right there, that's the thing I forgot. Okay. So now where were we? I should have literally just like looked at all. There were just a lot of occurrences of this string, so I didn't like read every single one. We were in. I don't think I'm going to ship a beta tonight because there's a couple more bugs I want to fix. We'll ship it tomorrow. I know it doesn't seem that late, but it is 11:30 p.m. where I am. What were we just looking at? What file was it? We were looking in probably an interp, right? There was a thing that like, yeah, called make string to load. Start one import. Here we go. Gonna do this. Okay, what freaking file was that in? I just want to copy the thing. Oh, it's the same file. Okay. Still. Bro. Bro. Oh, we need. It's not on the import, it's on the scope, right? Okay, yes. Still. So this second argument, yeah, is this. So what is the deal with airplane food right here? What is the deal? I mean, I can just check that using again. Like, I feel like that's, well, maybe something, let's see. Oh, that's actually on the struct as well. Oh, no, you know what? I just misread this line because I'm tired. Because I saw the mod scope and I was like, oh, it's on, my brain just said, oh, it's on the scope, but it's not on the scope, it's on the struct. So, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. I don't know if that was the right solution to that. But it is what it is. Don't code tired. I mean, yeah, it's true. Don't code tired, except sometimes those extra hours help. But yeah, like I think bedtime now will make me more productive later. All right, so we will put in the change log fixed let's just put the example. Keep picking the wrong one. Okay, so fixed failure when calling provide import. Because there were sort of two different bugs, but they were both related to the same thing. So I'm not going to call it two different fixes. So there we go. There we go. Let's make sure the game compiles. I am kind of tired now. There we go. We are good. We are good. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out a little bit on Christmas night and debugging some bugly bugs. And yeah, we're about ready to ship another beta. A couple more bugly bugs and we'll do that. And that'll be tomorrow. I hope everybody has a good Christmas or has had. I'm sure not everybody has had a good Christmas, but you know, when we say that, it means we wish you well and hope that you have the best time possible under the circumstances. Good night, everybody. I'm going to go to bed. And, you know, I was expecting to want to stream more on this trip, and I've kind of just been chilling and enjoying the non-streaming time, but, you know, maybe we'll pick it up again. We'll see. Thanks, everybody.